About 13 minutes ago, I got this particular email from Brother Lee out of the San Francisco, California area. And of course, this email revolves around one of our more controversial social media black figures, Dr. Umar Johnson. I was gonna do a whole nother video, but once I saw this, I had to scratch that idea, at least for now, because this is important. Now, why is this? Because Dr. Umar Johnson is a voice in the black community, maybe not as respected as before, but he is a voice. And on this particular podcast, he was asked about his feelings about Mr. Kevin Samuels. What I'd like to do right now is to play this particular clip, and then I'll come back.
I didn't support it at all.
Okay.
I thought it was divisive. I thought it was very Eurocentric in his approach to criticism. I think his expectations for women were very superficial in terms of what was important. There was a heavy focus on how much you make and how good you look. No woman is going to look good forever. No. They're going to get pregnant. They're going to get older. To me, telling women that you are too fat or too small or too broke, and that's the reason why you don't have a man, that is psychopathological and it is destructive to our community. I did not agree with his approach at all. And the fact that he did have a lot of people who did speaks to how decadent and speaks to how self-hating we can be as a people. And I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of the women who supported Kevin Samuels supported him because they don't like other black women, and they enjoyed sitting back on their couch, sipping their tea, and watch this black man tear black women's self-esteems to shreds.
So he didn't agree with Kevin Samuels' delivery. Now, to be fair to Dr. Umar Johnson, when Kevin Samuels passed away, he did not throw the brother under the bus. He was one of the few men who disagreed with Kevin Samuels, who actually was, at least explaining that the conversation that Kevin Samuels was having was not even really his own. My father had the same conversation. His father had the same conversation. So the problem that is going on with black men and black women, Kevin Samuels just took it to another level. But these conversations have been going on, right? The first thing he says that the issue is divisive or divisive, and he didn't like Kevin Samuels' Eurocentric way of breaking it down. Well, what is so Eurocentric about what we consider is the truth? How do you tell somebody you're entitled or you want a man that you don't qualify for? That's the truth anywhere, even here in Africa, okay? East Africa, West Africa, South Africa. If you are a woman who is poor, you're not in good shape, and you are demanding that somebody rich come and take care of you or some of your kids, anywhere in the world, you're not going to qualify for the top guy. Oh, hell no. It don't matter if you're in the village. It don't matter if you're in America. Same rules apply. Men all over the world value youth. They value femininity. They don't like bad attitudes. And that's what Kevin Samuels is talking about. Nowhere in the world can you go somewhere with a bad attitude as a woman and get anywhere in that community. It doesn't work. So when he's saying Eurocentric, are you trying to blame the way he's breaking things down on a white supremacist mindset? Or are we dealing with the facts? Because when black women break black men down, are they doing it from a Eurocentric mindset? Or are some of the things that black women are saying, or a lot of things they're saying, is it the truth? When black women tell black men the truth, we know that there's brothers out there that are pookies and ray-rays, that there's black men that don't take care of their kids, black men who are lazy and don't want to work. There's nothing Eurocentric about that, because in Europe or in America or in Africa, it's the truth. The second thing is, the way that Kevin Samuels is telling women about themselves, it's superficial. Like, you shouldn't break a woman down to what she looks like or her youth or how much she makes, because at some point she's not going to be as beautiful. She's going to have kids. She's going to get old. So it's superficial for you to look at her for, what she makes or what she looks like, rather, right? It's superficial. But that's interesting, Dr. Umar, because isn't that what black women do to black men? They don't look at black men for their good qualities some of the times, right? Let me just tell you something. Black women, in my honest opinion, and this is not every black woman, obviously, but black women tend to be some of the most superficial women in America. How tall you are matters with black women. Whereas in certain groups, it's not as important, right? How much money you make. Oh, that's really important. What car you drive is really important. Your charisma, God forbid you're boring, you're not exciting, you're not funny. In fact, that's what women like. Black women like a guy that is funny, outgoing, more so than what other women care for. Other women might look more into social factors. Is he a good father? Is he persistent? Is he a builder? Does he remind me of my dad? This is what other women look for. Not saying that black women don't look for these things, but on average, you can say that black women don't value these things maybe as much because they haven't seen it in their own personal life. So what they value is what you have on the outside. Your swag. You don't really hear white women and Asian women talking about swag, but you hear black women often refer to the concept of swag. Now, this is something that's important. To tell women that you can't get a man because you're too old or too fat is wrong. Well, Dr. Umar, let's kind of revisit that. If you are telling a woman that you can't get any man because you're too old or too fat, then that doesn't make sense. Because obviously, anybody can get somebody if their standards could be average or low enough. Kevin Samuels is never telling any woman that you can't get a man because you're too old or you're too fat. It's not what he said. He's telling a woman, if you are 5'2", 260 pounds, 38 years old, with 3 kids by 3 different guys, and you expect that you should have some man 6'5", faithful, 225 pounds, 6% body fat, PhD, and plays point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers at the same time, who is making $10 million a year, it's unrealistic. Kevin Samuels is never telling black women you can't get a man. We're saying that for what you're trying to go for is not realistic. And furthermore, many of these women can't even get in the same vicinity as some of the men that they're trying to go after. And it's not even just Kevin Samuels saying it. How many times has Kendra G said that on her dating show? That basically what you're talking about doesn't exist. Or how about some of the female dating coaches like April Mason, who said, you know what? We're stopping matchmaking. Rebecca Lynn Pope, because black women's standards are so out of this world that what they want, they cannot get, or it doesn't even exist. It's different if we're saying like, okay, you can't get any man at all. But no, women don't want to deal with men on their level. They're always looking to deal with a man outside of their level, not looking at the fact that that man is not even really checking for them like that because she's not what he's qualifying for. So he's being what is honest. All right. Now, you talked about the black women. The black women that support Kevin Samuels only supported Kevin Samuels because they don't like black women and they're self-haters who like him. Why don't they like black women? Umar, did they grow up? Like anybody who doesn't like anybody in the black community, typically it's not because I wake up in the morning and I don't like black people or I don't like black men or vice versa. Has it been their experience? Has it been something that they've seen day in and day out? And just because they like Kevin Samuels doesn't mean that they hate black women. They could love black women. It could be just that the guy is right about what he's talking about. And see, this is what you see happening in a lot of the Pan-African spaces. This is why a lot of times black women are not developing, because people like Umar Johnson need black women to support the message financially. And black men like Umar Johnson are keeping black women very single because there's no way to criticize some of their shortcomings, but they get to criticize all of black men's shortcomings. The only problem is that black men are the ones that are offering the rings. And then when black men don't want to put up with it and go marry somebody else outside of black America, then you want to start calling names when you never intended to listen to these black men in the first place. Dr. Umar Johnson doesn't care about the plights that black men have with black women in black America. He only cares about what black women have to say. And that's the issue. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. I'm out.